What's up, Baller Nation? Augie Johnston here with BallerBootCamp.com. You know what it is. This is a Q&A. I haven't done one of these for a little bit. I want to start doing these more often. And the way that these questions are posted, they're posted in our Facebook group. Okay, so if you want to join our Facebook group, we're about 18,000 members strong in that group. Then head over to Facebook and search for Baller Bootcamp in the search bar, or just head to facebook.com/groups/BallerBootcamp. Click the little join button, we'll let you in the group, and we got tons of players, coaches, trainers in that group that are all interacting, answering questions, and just talking about basketball. Super pumped that the NBA season is just starting up. Looks like there's gonna be some cool little surprises, like the Lakers might be actually decent this year with that super young squad. And of course, it's gonna be fun to watch to see what the Cavs do and what the Warriors do. And so, all right, let's go ahead and get into this question and answer. Like I said, all these questions have come from our Facebook group. Okay, and the first question comes from Drillin Aslani. And now some of these people, they're from foreign countries. I don't know how to pronounce their names. I know who they are because we interact in the group a lot and stuff. But anyways, his question is, when is the best time to rip through, and what is better, a 1 dribble pull-up or a 2 dribble pull-up? Okay, so when talking about ripping the ball through, what a rip through is basically when you get a catch, you rip the ball through the other side, put the ball down, and try to blow by the defense. I have a video for that. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description below. You can click, go and watch the rip through video, how to rip through and all that kind of stuff. So that's a good question. And the best time that you want to rip through is when you're popping out to get a catch. You get a catch, you got the defense trying to deny you, or they're trying to play pressure D, they're trying to get out in the lane a little bit. That's a great time to catch and rip through. Also, anytime that you've created a closeout situation, okay, so there's a lot of different ways you can create closeout situations. For example, popping off of a screen, now the defender has to close out on you. If you're a good shooter, obviously, that's a good time to rip through. Also, you can even create closeout situations by setting screens. For example, if I'm on the top and I pass to the one wing and I screen away, as soon as I set that screen, I need to open to the basketball, pop out to the wing, and when I get that catch, hopefully I should have created a closeout situation right there too. That's a good time to catch it, rip it through, and get to the basket. Now for your second part of your question, what's better, a 1 dribble pull-up or a 2 dribble pull-up? That totally depends on different things. Now, a 1 dribble pull-up can be used to stop, create space this way with the defender, right? So I'm stopping better than he's stopping, he's continuing, now I have space to pull up. When a 2 dribble pull-up is usually better to get away from the defense. For example, I shot fake, he lifts, now I gotta get away from him, 1, 2, I use that extra dribble to create more space and get into my pull-up. Now, totally depends on the situation and all that kind of stuff, so it's kind of a tricky little question. Let's go ahead and get right into the next one. I don't want these to go too long. I'm trying to get this video under 10 minutes. All right, Samir, oh man, this is a hard one. Chattervetti. Samir Chattervetti said, at what age did you start going to the gym for weight training, and what did you start off doing? That's a good question, because it's one that I think a lot of players are curious about, because there's rumors, there's myths out there that lifting weights is going to stunt your growth and that kind of stuff. I personally started lifting weights when I was 14. That's kind of when I first started high school. We had weight class, so we had weights pretty much every day where we'd go in there. I learned how to power clean, I learned how to hand clean, I learned how to do a whole bunch of stuff like that, learned how to bench press, squat. I remember doing squats for the first time, and that was pretty painful thing for me, putting that bar on your neck, had to use the pads and stuff. But yeah, so I was 14, but before that I was always really into like doing push-ups. I did a lot of core stuff too as well, because I was like kind of influenced by Bruce Lee growing up, and he was like the push-up master, so I was always kind of working on that kind of stuff. Also, before I turned 14, I always used to do like calf raises all the time and stuff like that. I was just really into improving my game. So 14 was the age that I started, and like I said, I started basically with all the basic lifts, deadlifts. I think these are the ones you should definitely learn: deadlifts, you need to learn how to squat, and then all the other ones: bench, upright rows, shoulder press. And if you can get into like the power cleans and hang cleans and stuff like that, then that's great. But I think those are probably the most difficult lifts to get proper technique with and all that kind of stuff. So as I got older, I got really into lifting when I turned like 16, I would say, where I would lift like religiously every single day. As I got later and later in my career, lifting became a little bit less of a priority to me, and that's my advice for you guys. Is it's great to do your strength training, your athletic work and stuff, but my opinion personally is skill work and playing is the most important thing you need to be doing. But second to that is going to be getting in the weight room, working on your athleticism, that kind of stuff. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into the next question. That's some good questions so far. Sebastian Oko says, I'm about to play college ball at an NAIA school. My ultimate goal is NBA. What are the steps I need to take in order to get my goal? Or could I make it through an NAIA school? I think this is a good question and a good topic. Can you get into the NBA from an NAIA school? And I don't know, I think back in the day, I think it was much more likely than it is nowadays. Nowadays, it seems like pretty much all the players that get into the NBA, besides like foreigners, played at D1. I mean, I think I can remember Ben Wallace, he played at D2. That was a little bit ago as well. Guys like Dennis Rodman, I think he played NAIA. Scottie Pippen, believe it or not, I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Scottie Pippen, he also played at like an NAIA D2 or something like that. So is it possible? Yes, of course it's possible. Anything's possible, but I think that it's pretty highly unlikely. And I'm not the one to go and shatter anybody's dreams. I hate when people do that, but in my opinion, I don't think it's very likely to go to the NBA from an NAIA school. But still, it doesn't mean you can't have a great experience, you know, get a lot better at the game, go overseas. Tons of players go overseas from NAIA schools and stuff like that. So I would say just set your goal at playing overseas. If that ends up becoming a reality, then awesome. You're a professional basketball player. You can make a living doing it. But I wouldn't be all for none for the NBA. You got to be smart. If you're all for none coming out of college, like, no, it's going to be only the NBA, then chances are you're probably not going to be able to play professionally at all. All right, next question. This comes from my man Keith Demek. Okay, that's probably wrong, but Keith, and he says, at what age did you start playing basketball? I started playing basketball at the age of 8. Okay, I was in 3rd grade. I mean, I played a little bit before that, you know, like in school and stuff, at recess stuff, but the first team I played on, like in an organized league with refs and all that kind of stuff, was at age 8, and I still remember the jerseys. I still remember my team. I remember my coach. I remember a lot, actually. I remember one time in the game, so I was playing in the old school Chuck Taylor Converses, like the high top Chuck Taylors. And I remember, so they were slippery. Those aren't the greatest shoes to play in. This wasn't so far ago, but I mean, that's what my parents wore. So I think they thought when they played basketball. So I think they thought that that's what I was supposed to wear. I have no idea, but that's what I was playing in. I remember in the really slippery gym one time, I was on a fast break, 1-on-0, and we were, you know, at a young age, you learn how to jump stop. You work on jump stop, and I did like a sweet jump stop. Boom, landed it, but it was slippery, so I like slid a little bit. Even though I landed perfectly, I didn't travel. I slid. And they called me for travel, and I was like devastated when that game ended, and I was like wondering, you know, why? They taught me how to jump stop. They said this is how you're supposed to do it, and I did it. I got called for travel. I don't get it, yada yada. And yeah, just a lot of good memories from that time, and that's really where it all began for me. And yeah, a lot of good friends too from that team that continued playing with me throughout my entire high school until I was a high schooler, basically. Now this just goes to show like how cool sports are, that we're able to, I can remember that, but I can't remember my teacher's name when I was 8 years old. But anyways, another good question, on to the next. So Trace Gagnon says, do you prefer jumping off of 1 foot or 2 feet when attempting to dunk? Now me personally, I'm a 1 foot jumper, so I like to jump off 1 foot. I know a lot of people are 2 foot jumpers, but me personally, I'm a 1 foot jumper. I think 1 foot jumping is good for players that don't really have that much hops, because you can use technique to increase your vert, basically. So that's what I do. I can dunk off 1 foot. I can throw off the backboard, jump up, dunk it off 1 foot. I can do like under the basket reverses with 1 foot dunks. But off 2 feet, I've only had a few dunks in my life off of 2 feet. Now, I'm like 6'1", 6'2", with shoes on, and so I'm not the greatest jumper. I'm not the greatest leaper. But I know like a lot of my friends that like the top ones that were like the best jumpers that I knew, they were 2 foot jumpers. So I don't know what that really means exactly. I know it takes a lot more power to be a 2 foot jumper, and there's technique involved with 2 foot jumping as well. But me personally, I'm a 1 foot jumper. Okay, so I'm gonna butcher this name. I'm just gonna say AK asks a question. He says, what pushes you to work harder, a huge loss or a huge win? That's actually a really good question. And for me personally, it's a loss. Okay, I think it's like that for most people. A loss is going to mean a lot more motivation in the future than a win. And actually, the one loss that I can remember in my life that was like the biggest motivating loss of all time was my last high school game. We were picked to finish in CIF, which is basically like your region. It's bigger than your league. So for California, it's like you have North CIF and Southern Section CIF. We were in the Southern Section, and so it's like LA all the way up to where I live, which is San Luis Obispo. And we were picked to finish in CIF #1. We had a great team and stuff. and we ended up getting bounced in the playoffs, and it was like devastating for us, for our team. And the next day after that loss, me and my best friend, we went to the gym and did like this insane workout that was like 5 hours long. We did squats, we did legs, we did all upper body, and the next day we were both just injured. Like we had totally strained every muscle in our body and we could barely even walk. And I used that loss throughout my college career. I used it throughout my whole entire career basically to motivate me. I would, even to this day, when I think about it or I see my old high school coach, it's the first thing we always talk about. So losses really are the things that motivate me the most. Okay, and the next question comes from Ball is Life Johnny. What's up, Johnny? And he says, how do you have good IQ in the game of basketball? Is it just by watching film every day? Because I need help with this. I'm only 5'7" and I need to have a good IQ. And I think that's one of the misconceptions in basketball is a lot of players think, and a lot of trainers and stuff, they even say this too, like to improve your IQ, you need to watch game film. And yeah, that is good. Like I recommend that. Like watch your own game film, watch game film of players that you play like so you can try to emulate the things they do. But really the best way and really the main way is to get game experience, okay? If you can play with refs, with a coach, on a team in organized basketball, that's gonna help your IQ more than anything else. And also like practicing with a coach, having a coach coach you up, tell you, and playing the game. Even open gym, playing an open gym is gonna help you with your IQ normally if you're playing with good players and playing the right way, more than sitting at home and watching an NBA game and breaking down Steph Curry's whatever. So that's my advice, game experience. That's gonna help your IQ more than watching game film. Alright guys, if you guys like this video, if you want me to do more Q&As, let me know by crushing that like button. Let's get 1,000 likes on this video. Also, look in the description below. I'll leave a link to our Facebook group where you can join and ask questions, and I'll try to answer your question in the next video. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. I release videos all the time. And most importantly, head over to ballerbootcamp.com. Head over there if you haven't been over there for a while. We got tons of great content on there and a free workout that you can download, follow, and print out to take your game to that next level. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.